Make sure my mic is on. Coming up on News 11, the Buffalo Bills' new stadium takes another massive leap toward getting secured. The FDA has approved a fourth Pfizer booster shot for adults ages 50 plus. And the Oscars have a surprise event occur between two superstar actors. These stories and more, News 11 starts right now. Good evening, welcome to News 11. I'm Topher Elkins.
And I'm Christian Cronin.
Chris, this is the first time we're anchoring together, and it's actually the first time I think two men have anchored together in a long time, so how are you feeling?
Well, let me just say, it's a dream come true being able to anchor with Topher. The Topher Elkins, I will say.
Oh my lord. All right, let's get right into the stories. Both the NFL and Erie County have agreed with the proposal for a new NFL stadium for the Buffalo Bills in Orchard Park. The new stadium agreement was made with the stadium cost at $1.4 billion. The new deal is a 30-year lease and is set to begin in 2026. Bills owner Terry Pegula said that about the new stadium, quote, "We took another step today to solidify our collective goal of constructing a new stadium for the Buffalo Bills in Orchard Park." Governor Kathy Hochul also weighed in saying, quote, "I'm pleased that after months of negotiating, we've come out with the best answers possible. The Bills stay in Buffalo for another 30 years. The project will create 10,000 union jobs, and New Yorkers can rest assured that their investment will be recouped by the economic activity the team generates. The new open-air stadium will feature 60,000 to 62,000 seats, and while a rendering of the stadium has not been finalized, it is believed that most seats will have some kind of weather protection from the elements." Funding for the stadium comes from a $200 million G4 loan from the NFL and $850 million from public funding. Some steps remaining to be finalized, such as Erie County needing to approve the deal, but County Executive Mark Poloncarz expects that to be finished soon.
A local Chautauqua woman is doing her part to support Ukraine in the war. Sally Nasker-Bear helps run a gift shop in an Asheville store, but has taken up another job. She currently is working in Poland, where she drives military vests and supplies into Ukraine. Bear estimates that she's brought nearly 100 vests into the country and hopes to bring more. When she drops off supplies to Ukraine, she never leaves empty-handed. She fills her van with as many refugees as she can and drives them back into Poland. Bear's friend Valentina Fipinova, who is 7 months pregnant, helps Bear transport refugees and supplies to and from Poland. The two hope to keep helping as many people as they can.
A fugitive woman who has gone on the run with her infant child are wanted by the U.S. Marshals. On March 7, 35-year-old Adrene Marion was charged in Harrison County, West Virginia, with violating a court order. According to reports, she was ordered to transfer custody of the child in February and is believed to have fled the area with the child in early March. Marion was issued a felony kidnapping warrant on March 9th. According to the Marshals, they are focusing on their efforts finding Marion and her child in Dunkirk and Fredonia. Marion is described as a white woman with brown hair and brown eyes, standing about 5'7" and weighing about 165 pounds. Irish Chester, her daughter, is also white with brown hair and brown eyes. She is 11 months old, about 3 feet tall, and weighs about 17 pounds. Anyone with information regarding the whereabouts of Marion or Chester are asked to call 911 or contact the U.S. Marshals Service at 304-623-0486. Tips may also be submitted via the USMS Tips app.
3 Buffalo Police Department officers are recovering after being shot during a high-speed chase that happened just after 6 p.m. on Tuesday. Officers say they were approached by a suspicious vehicle on Ferry Ave. According to Buffalo Police Commissioner Joseph Gramaglia, the driver took off the moment he handed over his ID. Police have since identified the driver as 28-year-old Kente Bell. Police chased the suspect throughout Buffalo's entire city limits during the high-speed chase. Bell allegedly shot at officers between Niagara Street and New York 198. Gramaglia said the 3 officers, who were all in separate vehicles, were shot in different areas during the chase. Gramaglia said the entire chase lasted 4 to 5 minutes, with all 5 of the city's police districts involved. He added, quote, "The pursuit at the point was within policy. Of course, it's dangerous. It has to be monitored. You also have to keep in mind we have an individual that is discharging a firearm while he is driving in a car indiscriminately. And we have a duty to protect the citizens as well as our police officers. Gunfire continued after Bell crashed his car, according to Gramaglia, but he believes the pursuit came to an end after Bell crashed. Bell was also shot. He underwent surgery Tuesday at ECMC and is still in critical condition. Bell faces 3 counts of attempted murder of a police officer in the first degree and criminal possession of a weapon. Police tell us they recovered a handgun from his car. Since 2020, he has been on probation for illegal possession of a firearm out of the town of Amherst. A total of 19 crime scenes have been identified due to how far the case has spanned.
The owner of the Rapids Theater in Niagara Falls has been charged for allegedly filing fake applications for COVID-19 relief money of more than $7,500,000. John Hutchins and owner Roberto Solomon have been indicted on conspiracy to commit wire and bank fraud. Solomon is also facing money laundering charges. It is alleged they used the loans to buy themselves houses, new cars, and gave money to relatives. They could face up to a maximum penalty of 30 years in prison.
If you have ever wanted to become a firefighter, you may have a chance very soon. Buffalo's Mayor Brown announced Tuesday that the city has kicked off what they call the, quote, Stop, Drop, and Roll initiative, end quote. The campaign will feature a series of in-person opportunities for interested candidates to stop by and apply for the June 4th exam. Mayor Brown's goal is to, quote, make it even easier for neighborhood residents to fill out and complete an application in just one simple stop, end quote. These will take place on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. throughout the month of April, with the first one taking place April 2nd at Buffalo City Hall, room 1001.
Last Friday, Congressman Brian Higgins announced that Buffalo's Roswell Park has recently received a grant for $1.5 million in federal funding. The hospital plans to use the funding to upgrade computed tomography or CT equipment and purchase 2 new CT scanners, one for the Roswell's main location in Buffalo and the other for Niagara Medical Campus, expected to open in 2023. Candace S. Johnson, President, CEO, and M&T Presidential Chair in Leadership at Roswell Park, stated, quote, "This couldn't be more important right now as we continue to deal with the immediate long-term impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic," end quote. The money for this grant will lead to the creation of the first free publicly available lung cancer screening registry in the nation. This will increase access to lung cancer screenings as well as raise awareness of testing and work to reduce disparities in screening. According to the National Cancer Institute, only about 6% of eligible individuals receive screening every year. Nikia Clark, Community Relations Coordinator with Roswell Park's Community Outreach and Education Program, stated, quote, "Everything we can do to inform the community members most likely to be affected by lung cancer and to reduce barriers to early detection will be a life-changing, life-saving benefit to our community," end quote.
Controversy is sparked regarding the Erie County Fair this year. As they are making some changes, there was previously a tradition to honor firefighters and veterans through the means of dugouts and parades, but last week it was released that there will not be. At this year's thank you. Oh, where are we? There was previously a tradition to honor firefighters and veterans through the means of a dugout and parades. But last week, it was released that there will not be at this year's fair due to, quote, safety reasons. The CEO of the Erie County Agricultural Society, Jessica Underberg, claims, quote, "We look at the situation knowing we want to support and honor the veterans and firemen. We just want to find a safer way to do that," end quote. The decision has led a group of individuals to make threats to the office, but Underberg still does not think they will bring back the dugouts and parades. She adds there are still plans to honor firefighters and veterans, but in different ways this year.
The Buffalo Bills aren't the only sports team with announcements this week. The Buffalo Bisons, with the return of spring comes the return of baseball season. And with a new season, the Buffalo Bisons have revealed their new uniforms for the 2022-2023 season. The Bisons released their, quote, affiliation blue jerseys and a royal blue alternate jersey that will be worn throughout the year as well. The affiliation blue jersey pays tributes to the team's partnership with its MLB parent club, the Toronto Blue Jays, and its connection to fans in Southern Ontario. The royal blue alternate jersey is more similar to the jerseys that the the Bisons have won in the past. Bisons GM also announced that specific events and partnerships such as hockey and lacrosse night with both the Buffalo Bandits and Sabres will be making returns this season as well. Both jerseys are available for pre-sale and cost $80, and the Bisons opening day is Tuesday, April 5th.
And for our last local story this week, this past Sunday, To Kill a Mockingbird made its debut at Shea's Performing Arts Center. The show picked Buffalo as its starting point for the tour for its, quote, engaging audience, according to tour programmer Orrin Wolf. But the convenience of downtown Buffalo makes it appealing for the cast and crew to stay for 3 to 5 weeks while the show gets up and running. And of course, the New York State Theater production tax credit also allows a perk, which allows Broadway shows to start tours in upstate New York and receive a credit for the money spent in the communities. Shea's presenting Broadway partner, Albert Nocilio, said, quote, Buffalo has become one of the best one-week theater markets in America. We have one of the biggest subscription or season ticket bases. That means when they come to Buffalo, they're gonna have the seats filled and a great audience, end quote. You still have the chance to see Kill a Mockingbird as it runs at Shea's through Saturday, April 2nd. When we come back, FDA approves a new Pfizer booster and more of your national headlines. We'll be right back.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
On Tuesday, the FDA and CDC have announced that everyone over the age of 50 is eligible to receive a second round of booster shots 4 months after their first boost. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky says, quote, this is especially important for those 65 and older and those 50 or older with underlying medical conditions that increase the risk for severe disease from COVID-19, as they are most likely to benefit from receiving an additional booster at this time, end quote. So far, there is limited data on second boosters in the U.S., but data from Israel indicates that an additional booster shot can provide a temporary bump in protection, reducing the risk of dying for adults over 60. Dr. Anthony Fauci, chief medical advisor to the White House, says that he expects additional boosters would, quote, reconstitute people back to the maximum level of antibodies rather than boost people higher than their previous immune responses from any of the earlier shots. However, while Tuesday's announcement only applies to older Americans, a decision for the rest of the population is coming soon. On April 6th, the FDA will convene a panel of vaccine experts to discuss the plan, talk about the efficacy of booster shots, and the potential need for a variant-specific booster instead of continual shots designed for the initial strain of COVID-19. A decision will most likely be made later this summer or fall.
And as for President Biden, just days after airline CEOs called on Biden to drop the federal public transportation mask mandate, governors from 21 states are suing the Biden administration. Attorney General Ashley Moody said, quote, it's long past time to alleviate some of the pressure on travelers and those working in the travel industry by immediately ending Biden's unlawful public transportation mandates, end quote. COVID-19 cases have gone down as Americans have received vaccinations and booster shots. But the virus is still a threat, and it's been recorded. An average of nearly 27,000 new cases have been reported daily, and nearly 700 people per day are dying from the coronavirus. The state's lawsuit claims the Biden administration, quote, continues to use a failed interpretation of a quarantine statute, end quote. And the rule exceeds the CDC's authority. The CDC says it's working on, quote, revised policy framework for face coverings.
On Tuesday, President Joe Biden signed a bill to make lynching a federal hate crime. This came after Congress failed more than 200 times to pass an anti-lynching legislation. The Anti-Lynching Act is named after Emmett Till, the 14-year-old boy who was beaten and killed in Mississippi in 1955. President Joe Biden said, quote, hundreds and hundreds of similar bills have failed to pass. Over the years, several federal hate crimes were included and enacted, including one I signed last year to combine COVID-19 hate crimes. But no federal law expressly prohibited lynching. None. Until today, end quote. President Joe Biden also stated, quote, the law is not just about the past, it's about the present and our future as well, end quote.
Some of the phone calls made during the January 6th siege of the U.S. Capitol are unaccounted for, according to the White House call records obtained by the Washington Post and CBS. CNN previously reported about a gap in communication of several hours. The records provided to the Post and CBS show a gap of more than 7 hours in the call logs, and sources familiar with the House investigation into the insurrection say this lack of information is making it hard to fully comprehend what happened that day. The House Select Committee doesn't have access to phone calls made between then-President Trump and lawmakers that were previously reported in the media. Officials say some of those calls may have been made on Trump's personal cell phones, which could explain why they are not included in the White House records. Two sources say there are no records of phone calls made by Trump for a few hours after his address to supporters who later stormed the Capitol.
Last Thursday, 14-year-old Tyree Sampson fell to his death riding the Orlando Freefall Tower at Icon Park after being turned away from two other rides at the park due to his size. Sampson's cousin, Shay Johnson, who spoke to Sampson moments before getting on the ride, said she didn't know it would be the last time talking to her cousin alive and that he just wanted to ride and have a good time. The Ride Operations and Maintenance Manual, which has been posted online by the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, indicates that the massive passenger weight is 287 pounds. It is not clear if the seat fit the teenager properly. However, the report filed by the operator with the Fair Rides Division of the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services says that the harness was still in a down and locked position when the ride stopped. The freefall ride is closed while the accident is being investigated, and another ride in the park has been suspended. The Slingshot group said, quote, "We are heartbroken by the loss of Tyree Sampson and absolutely devastated for his family and loved ones. We have suspended the operation of the freefall and the Slingshot at Icon Park. We are fully cooperating with the authorities at the state and local levels who are investigating this tragic accident and plan on providing additional information in the coming days as we learn more," end quote.
Sacramento City school students are still out of class because of severe staffing shortages. And a staff strike, because of the shortages, teachers and employees of the Sacramento City Teachers Association began their strike on March 23rd. But the CU said they have been bargaining with the district since October. Jenny Smith Kimijo, a spokesperson for the SU, said, quote, "We want equity across the district, and so far they're just playing games, and they're not responding seriously to our proposals. They are not showing any urgency about ending the strike or ending the staffing crisis," end quote. The union says that the shortage is taking a toll on their students and their education. According to Smith Kamijo, the transportation department lost 25% of its staff in the last 6 months. Smith Kamijo said, quote, "Of course the reason for this is because the job is very high stress. The working conditions aren't good right now and it doesn't pay enough. So people are finding better jobs in neighboring schools, districts, or in the private sector, and they're leaving and not able to replace those people," end quote. Another spokesperson, Jamie Horwitz, said that the school district is short 250 regular teachers and 100 substitute teachers. Also, because of the district is short 15 independent study teachers, prior to the strike, the 571 students who applied for independent study because they are unable to return to in-person school for health or other reasons, have received no instruction. Smith Kamijo said the strike is hard on its workers and the union is, quote, "so disappointed and outraged that the district is not doing its part," end quote.
FDA advisors met on Wednesday to vote on whether an experimental drug for patients with ALS should receive FDA approval. Experts say the stakes are high for the agency as it faces pressure from patients and advocacy groups to approve the drug quickly, saying there is a critical unmet need for patients, but also intense scrutiny from the scientific community over its handling of recent approvals. ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive and fatal neurodegenerative disease for which there is no cure. The drug, from Cambridge, Massachusetts-based drug maker Amylyx Pharmaceuticals, is designed to slow the progression of the disease by preventing cells responsible for carrying signals from the brain to muscle cells from dying prematurely. However, the company is relying on data from UST, a single clinical trial, in its application for the approval to the FDA, which has prompted skepticism among some health experts about whether the company has enough evidence to show that the the drug works. On Monday, FDA scientists released a critical review of the medication, saying in briefing documents that the company data on the drug, quote, may be sufficiently persuasive, end quote, to the recommended approval. Now, when we come back, Sarah Gordon joins us as always with an update on the new NFL rules and the Final Four of the March Madness tournament. Plus, we'll have a look at your Friday forecast. We'll be right back.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
To get to know each other.
On a deeper level.
Father.
Cosplayer.
Mentor.
Actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
And discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes!
Make a plan today.
All right, Sarah Gordon is here this week, and she has an interesting update regarding the NFL. But first, I know she's going to talk about the Buffalo Sabres, so take it away, Sarah.
Thank you, Topher. So, on Monday, the Buffalo Sabres won another shocker of a game, coming back to top the Chicago Blackhawks 6-5 after starting the game down 4-0. Victor Olofsson started off the Sabres rally with 2 goals in the second period, followed by Kyle Okposo, Vinny Hinestraza, and Alex Tuch. But the goal of the game came from Tage Thompson. Well, actually, Chicago's goalie Kevin Lankinen, with a tied score of 5-5 and 10.6 seconds left in the game, Thompson took a shot from left wing, breaking his stick, and the puck bounced off the boards behind the net, back at the left skate of Lankinen, and into the goal. After starting the season on a sour note, the Sabres have surely pulled off some unorthodox wins to keep fans excited. The National Football League's owners approved changes to overtime rules Tuesday. However, the changes will only apply to the postseason playoff games. Discussion has always been happening about the overtime rules, but the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs AFC divisional round game this past season really put the rules front and center to be examined. Before, the team who won the coin toss scored on the first possession, and the other team lost out from any chance. But now both teams have a chance to score regardless. The free agency is still bringing big news as Tyreek Hill has been traded from the Kansas City Chiefs to the Miami Dolphins for a 2022 first-round pick, second and fourth-round pick, as well as 2023 fourth and sixth-round picks. Hill signed a 4-year, $120 million extension with $72.2 million guaranteed and $52.535 million at signing. The NCAA March Madness tournament is now on to the Final Four after narrowing the Elite Eight field. Villanova will play Kansas this Saturday at 6:09 p.m. Eastern, and North Carolina will take on Duke Saturday at 8:49 p.m. Eastern.
And we're going to toss it right over to weather with Josh again back this week. So, Josh, what can you tell us about tomorrow and Friday? Well, tomorrow is Friday, I'm sorry. What can you tell us about tonight and Friday?
Well, Topher, looking at tonight's weather, temperatures look as though they're getting warmer than we've experienced this past couple days, but in reality, it will feel a lot cooler outside tonight. Temperature sits right around 43 degrees with a low temperature right around 38. No precipitation in the immediate future, but the big thing tonight will be the winds. Winds throughout the night will constantly be above 20 miles per hour, with gusts hitting as high as 40 miles per hour in some instances. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we'll be seeing more of that wet snow and rain mix we experienced earlier in the week, with the temperature sitting in between right around 38 degrees at noon tomorrow. However, if that's not cold enough for you, it feels like the temperature tomorrow will be back below freezing at 39 degrees. There's a decent chance at some scattered precipitation too, sitting around 60% through the majority of the day tomorrow. Looking ahead to this weekend, Saturday is looking like a great day outdoors, but more on that during my second forecast.
Never graduated high school or even let alone go to
Chris.
college, so I'm trying to break that barrier.
Quick switch.
Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Come back on 6. Come back on 6.
Come back on 6. Come back on 6.
All right, well, obviously the big story from this weekend occurred on Sunday with the slap heard around the Dolby Theater, and it is dominating the conversation about Sunday's Oscars. Will Smith slapped Chris Rock after the comedian made a joke about Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. Will's reaction came after Rock made a joke about Jada starring in G.I. Jane 2. The joke about Jada's shaved head caused her to roll her eyes before her husband stormed onto the stage. In 2018, Pinkett Smith revealed she was dealing with hair loss after being diagnosed with a disease known as alopecia. Smith was then seen walking up on stage and slapping Rock across the face. Smith, visibly upset, yelled at Rock to keep his wife's name out of his mouth, complete with an expletive for emphasis. The Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts, and Sciences, with the governing body of the Academy Awards, has condemned Smith's actions and launched a formal review. Smith issued a statement Monday evening apologizing to both Chris Rock and the Film Academy.
Elliot Page's character on the popular Netflix series Umbrella Academy will take a cue from the transgender actor's real life. In Season 3, Page's character, Vanya Hungreaves, will transition to Victor Hungreaves and use he/him pronouns. Page made the announcement on Twitter Tuesday, and Netflix retweeted Page on its dedicated LGBTQ+ Twitter account. The third season of Umbrella Academy begins on June 22nd. Page is an Oscar-nominated actor who came out as transgender in 2020.
Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins was found dead this Saturday in Bogota. Authorities claim he had at least 10 substances in his system, including opioids, antidepressants, and THC. An ambulance was sent to his hospital after local emergency centers received reports of, quote, a patient with chest pains, end quote. But he was unresponsive when they arrived at the scene, and attempts of resuscitation were unsuccessful. The cause of death is currently being investigated. Fans are heartbroken at this news, and the band was scheduled to perform in Colombia for the first time in 3 years. His bandmates spoke out on Twitter asking fans to respect Hawkins' family, privacy, and stating, quote, his musical spirit and infectious laughter will live on in all of us forever, end quote. Chris, did you see the video of the Oscars?
In fact, you showed it to me, Topher.
I did. So, there are many who are questioning that it was fake. Do you believe it? Do you think it was a publicity stunt? Watching the video, do you think it was real?
Yes, a total sham. It's what Hollywood wants you to think. That's my opinion.
You think it's
I think it's a skit. It's a joke. It's they just want,
purely for views?
Yeah, views. It's all views.
Yeah, because I did read a thing that was the second
highest?
Second lowest.
Oh, second lowest.
Yeah, so obviously I think they're just trying to peak views. Back-to-back years, bottom two. Well.
Maybe onto something here.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, all right. Well, after his last forecast, I'm kind of excited to see what Josh has to say about tomorrow. So, Josh, what do you have for Saturday?
All right, Topher. Whether or not, here I come. Saturday is a nice day to look forward to, as for the most part, we should be seeing sunshine and blue skies for the majority of the day. Also, the winds die down throughout the days, too, so it should feel warmer outside as well. Temperatures sit at 45 degrees, which will feel like 51, so a pretty overall nice spring day. Looking ahead to Sunday, Mother Nature decides to flip the switch on Fredonia again. Temperatures sit pretty similar to Saturday's, except the wind picks up back again. Wind gusts pick up to 25 miles per hour throughout Sunday. We also have a good chance at a scattered shower here or there throughout the day as well.
All right, thank you so much, Josh. And that does it for News 11 this week. As always, thank you so much to our cast and our crew and everyone watching at home.